Hello, kids. Welcome back. It is a wonderful evening. It is currently Thursday, the 29th of January, 2015. Yes, I actually said 2015 rather than what I was going to say before, which would be completely the wrong actual words, because 2015, 2014, I always get confused at the start of the year. Regardless of my ineptitude of dating and all that jazz, Wiz, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing excellent because it's hype time.
It is hype time. We have some serious hype, and before we actually go and look at what sort of hype we actually have in front of us, quickly gonna go and switch over towards the forum. We had this forum thread going on, and basically what we said was, you know what, we want to go and say, we have this thing called the Nation Designer. And we were saying by ourselves, you know what, let the community decide on what we should create. So in a nutshell here, Wiz, what is the Nation Designer?
Okay, so the Nation Designer is like the single biggest feature that we've added to EU4 since launch. And as the name might imply, it actually lets you design your own nation completely. I mean, it's like, I played France, I played Austria, I played Ulm, I played Bhutan, all of those things. So you're ready for something that's just you. And that's exactly what it is. It lets you pick a starting point, it lets you pick a name, it lets you make a flag, you set up all the things like government and culture and religion. You can pick exactly what provinces you own, and you can even design your own ideas.
Okay, cool. So we're going to go and delve into the nitty and gritty of all of this in this actual broadcast. It's going to be about an hour long. Something like that, maybe a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit longer, depending on what sort of feedback you guys have out there. We will be doing a Q&A session about halfway through, and as well during the whole thing, just on the fly. But first of all, it is important for us to go and say, we should take a look at what sort of nations we have options of picking up. Now, Wiz, we were going through this earlier today. Were there any particular ones that you thought by yourself, you know what, this is hilarious, but we can't do this?
A few. I mean, it's like, I like the EU.
The European Union?
I like Belgium.
I like Belgium as well.
That was like all negative.
Let me quickly browse towards it. I think it's on page 5.
That's kind of horrible. 2, B, you can't actually do that in the Nation Designer, but it was great. Although I was thinking that for Belgium you would need a special idea that makes sure they're always in the Regency.
He needs to be always in the region. It is strangely appropriate considering the actual situation. I personally liked the Federation of South Yan Mayan. Which had the ideas of rar, 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 and rar.
Yes.
And they were all,
that was very good.
Yeah, there were also a whole bunch of the video game related, nations that don't actually exist. I was really, really disappointed that I did not actually see Latveria. I don't even know what it's called. What's the nation from Dr. Doom called again? Do you know?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure that we'll pop into it sooner or later.
Yeah.
Australia, traditions, barbecues, cute koalas, weaponized kangaroos, didgeridoos, boomerangs, and emu cavalry.
No drop bears.
No, I know, right? But
no drop
no
bears.
drop bears. You guys are disappointing. It's kind of sad that way. That you had so much opportunity there. Ah, there it is. Country name Belgium. Belgian roads plus 50% travel time for all armies. We can into global shipping. Antwerp capable of no more than 50% of Holland's trade power. French fries -1 prestige per month. Belgian government -1 administration each month and 50% deduction of monarch points. Laws in the freehold. Everything is 25% more. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. And joke of the world. Yeah, well, everybody knows what my opinion is about the Belgians. So yeah.
I wonder how many Belgians have left the stream.
Yeah, well, don't worry. It's everybody knows my opinion about the Belgians, so it's all perfectly fine. Let's go into the game and actually take a look at what we can actually do in the Nation Design. This is pretty much what people came for out here. I'm not quickly going to throw it to full screen, just so you people actually know what is going on. This is the Nation Designer, Wiz. In a nutshell, we're here on the single-player launch screen. It's 1444.
Yeah.
What is different? What has changed here? What is it? What is the thing in Dorado that we saw by ourselves? You know what? With the Nation Designer, we're going to add this to this interface.
Okay, so the Nation Designer just about here is actually just this one little button to begin with. because, I mean, when you start up in El Dorado, you have all the usual options of, you want to start with Poland or Hungary or Austria or all the, boring historical nations. Or you click this here button, and this happens. So now we have an alert that says, click a province on the map to select your capital. And this, whoa, I got a mouse mat.
There we go.
There we go.
Production quality,
excellent. No more noises. And this is how you start. You pick basically anywhere in the world that is not water or wasteland. You can start here, you can start here, you can start here. We can be like New Zealand.
So you can make any area that is colonizable and make a nation there if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. You can totally do that, and we will probably show that later. But to begin with, I think we'll be starting in Trebizond. And what nation will we be making there, Matt?
We were going through the actual thread a little bit throughout, and we thought by ourselves, you know what? We can go and create Ulm like a lot of people thought we were going to do, and maybe at some point we may or may not look into that. But we're going to go and take a look at the nation that we're going to be creating. First of all, because it was the one that seemed to be the most accurate for this particular broadcast, we're going to create the Amazon Empire.
Yes.
However, it is a bit of an Amazon with a twist, because it is the Amazonians of Greek myth, apparently.
Yep.
So we're going to create the Amazon Empire, and first of all, Wiz, we need to make we need to go into game and try to make ourselves a despotic monarchy.
All right.
In the capital.
First, we have to pick the capital.
Yeah, capital in Trebizond.
All right, and here we go. So, you click the province, you start, and it brings up the nation designer interface. And this is basically where all the fun stuff happens. So, we've come into the appearance tab where you can design the flag, but we're gonna wait a little bit with that. I mean, we'll start with, as you said, we'll make it a despotic monarchy. And very appropriately, both the ruler and the heir are both set to be women.
Yeah, I noticed that seems to be by default. Is there
it's 50-50.
It's 50-50,
yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so, well, we're actually already a despotic monarchy, so let's just take a look at the options you have for government, so, because, I won't get the chance to open this otherwise. It's a bunch of different ones. You can generally pick any government that's available in the early game. You can't start as like a constitutional monarchy in 1444, but you can start at a later date and design later governments that are available then. The nation designer is not limited to the 1444 start date. So, if you wanted, we could be the Amazon Empire, for example, which I feel is even more appropriate. And, right, so, culture.
Amazon Greek ?
Alright, we have that default selected.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic how Trebizond already has Greek culture.
The way this works is that all the starting information for your nation will be taken from the first province you pick. Then you can edit it freely, but that's like what you start with. So, because Trebizond is Greek Orthodox, it's Eastern, all that stuff, then you get all those things by default. You don't have to stay that way, but it's, a simple way if you just want to really quickly throw together a nation.
Are there any particular cultures in there that are of interest?
Let's have a look, and let's just say there is a lot to pick from.
This is not a small game.
I'm still scrolling.
This is not a small game, kids.
Yep.
It is quite significant.
Yep. And these are just groups, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, each one of these has a lot more. So, what's culture? Was it Greek or like...
They were Greek, which is part of the Byzantine group.
There's another one in the Byzantine group, though.
Gothic.
Gothic.
Fair enough.
I think it works.
Should we give him Gothic?
Okay. Yeah, let's give him Gothic.
We'll give him
let's get a little creative.
We're gonna go off the beaten path with this. Then we need to go religion. So let's see here. What sort of religion should we give? Coptic, alternatively Orthodox. Yeah. Hellenic, if you will feel insane. I don't think we even have Hellenic. Though.
Yeah, and as you can see, you have all the normal religions to pick from, but what's this? At the bottom here.
Ooh, that's Jewish.
That's Jewish. And what's this?
That would appear to be Norse.
Yeah, it would. But let's pick Coptic, because that's what they said. And we should stick to that at least. So we're the Gothic Coptic Empire. What about map graphics and technology growth?
This is my personal favorite, by the way.
Yeah.
I was playing around with it a little bit earlier. Something that people actually did not realize is that every single nation has its own graphics and all that jazz. Nobody ever really came up with that. Therefore, I suggest we're going to go Inuit.
Inuit.
Yes.
Right. We're going Inuit.
We are now the Amazonian Inuit Empire. And basically, if we can quickly go to the map graphics button in this particular case. So map graphics in this particular case, it governs the style of the city. It governs the style of
the units.
Of the units.
Yeah.
So we have basically those two, and for those people out there that have all the character packs and all that stuff, this is something for you guys that is most likely very interesting. Let's go to technology group.
Okay.
All right, so technology group.
And
yeah.
You can see there that there are costs associated with it. I should probably bring it up real quickly because it's sort of the central point. So, when you create your nation, you have a certain amount of points to spend, and most things cost points. The amount of points you have available is something you can set. You can sort of set the difficulty of your custom start, anywhere from like 50 to 800. 200 is a standard start. It's basically a high-end, medium, or low-end major power, like Hungary, somewhere between Hungary and Austria.
Okay.
And in the case of like culture and religion, there is no cost. For the government, the better ones cost. So our empire costs, I think it's 30 points. Yeah, because it starts with high autonomy reduction and all that stuff. For tech group, the cost is actually variable depending on where you start.
There were some things that I cheated a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But shall we go into that or?
Yeah, well, that's actually been fixed now. But Matt is a filthy cheater.
I am a filthy nerf. I'm the kind of person that causes nerfs to happen.
Yeah.
Basically, the problem is that the tech groups, obviously, if you're Western, you're gonna get it's gonna cost you 20 points. If you were South American. A couple hours ago, it was minus 280.
But that's variable. So, you see, it actually depends on where you start.
Okay.
If you start in Europe and you border Western, Western costs nothing. Because then you're like, oh, you're Western among Western. Mm-hmm. That's fine. If you start in like Eastern Europe, Eastern is the norm. If you want to be Western there, it costs a little bit of points.
Right.
If you start in North America, then North American is the norm, and if you want to be Western there, you better be ready to shell out some points. It's
really expensive.
Yeah. So, in this case, what happened was that he started as North American, where Western is the norm.
It was North American technology group in Ulm, by the way.
Which meant like minus 200 points.
which meant that I could go and do all sorts of ridiculous shit.
And then he could, Westernize basically right away. So... now you get a little bit of minus, not a big one, but if you want to be North American in Europe, go ahead. You'll get a little bit of extra points.
They're not gonna like you very much, though.
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No. Although I was part of the HRE. I was, Hungary attacked me and Austria came to my defense. I was in the middle of westernizing as well. I had a 666 ruler as well.
Wow,
which was,
all right.
So this was, this is why these games get.
What you're saying is the nation design isn't even released yet, and you already broke it.
That's great, isn't it?
It's fine. It's
we'll nerf it. Don't
people
worry
will. No, not too much though. I mean, to some degree, it's always gonna be kind of a breakable feature. But we do want to make it somewhat balanced, not the least because we want this to work in multiplayer, and it does work in multiplayer.
Up to how many users?
30. You can have 32 custom nations at the same time.
So
all 32 players.
So I can now always have been at war with East Asia.
Yes.
Ooh. Cool. So custom nations, and you don't know from the start what the other person has picked.
Well, no, you can see them popping up on the map.
Yeah, but basically, if you start at different parts on the planet, you can't see them.
Oh yeah,
you don't know what ideas they've taken.
Right. There's some limit. There's some limits there. It sort of depends on what settings the host has and such. But you can also create a custom nation and then not play that custom nation. You can create a custom nation, and finalize it, and then go make yourself another custom nation. Say if you want to set up some big AI rivals or just have fun with the map. And there's some additional settings that we will go into later that play into that.
All right, cool. So we've set up our Amazon empire right now. We need to have a female ruler, of course. She needs to be called What is a good last name for an Amazonian ruler? I am gonna go with.
It appears we have our first bug.